Welcome. It's time for an Equity.Guru investor roundtable. And today it is all about Nuran Wireless out of Quebec. I'm Rob Simpson, Chris Perry just below me, Michelle Tura just below him, and way down there in the basement, hey, TK into China. Oh, I should be waving down at you. And
Last on the list, first in our hearts.
that's right. And we're starting at the bottom, so to speak, because you're going to tell us about Nuran.
Awesome. I want to go back to 2000, before the bubble. There was a bunch of telecoms in the US that were really popular, but they were just putting out communication equipment that was completely useless. And we know the story of what happened there. And with most industries, once the wave goes away, we know who was swimming without trunks on the beach. And a lot of them are not existing today. But we have Nuran Wireless, which is in the same industry, but taking a kind of a different approach to it compared to the US alternatives, where it's focusing on a 4 billion people addressable market. It's a more diversified market than the US, and it's trying to go to people who are underserved by providing them with electronic circuits and telecommunications as well. And I think that's coming from Africa. I think that's a pretty audacious and amazing goal to go for.
Very nice. We'll jump over to Michelle for some charts on this company.
Sure. Rob, this is actually a very popular ticker. I just had a discussion with someone on Twitter about this, and a lot of people are following it because of the technicals here. We have what's known as a triangle pattern. I'm sure you can see why it's called that. But basically, we're holding support here at about $1.90 around there. And what a lot of people are waiting for is a breakout trigger, which would be a close above this downward slope line here. And it's looking exciting. So if we get that break, I mean, this thing has quite some room to move higher. However, if we do break lower, we're probably going to head back and test support around 150. But very popular ticker. A lot of people are talking about this stock.
CP, I think there'd be, if you've got money in your pocket, there might be a little bit of, jumping on this thing.
Well, the thing about this chart is there's a lot of psychological issues going on. I'm sure Vishal would agree. When a company explodes the way this one did back in February, a lot of people go, well, I missed the bus. I missed out on that one. I wish I'd been on it earlier. Now what am I going to do, Chase? This thing has formed a base right at $2. The last month has been almost like a straight line. So there's a lot of people going to look at that chart and say it's too late. I'm one of those who says, there's support at $2, right? There's a lot of people who, if you sell at 190, they're buying at 190. So that to me says that the guys that are in the know are stacking, and that this thing might just, I don't want to be the chart guy over Vishal because he's got me on that. But the other thing I'll say is that if you look back in the news, the reason that this thing went to $3.60 at the time was because they've signed a $500 million deal to supply equipment in Africa. Now, it's a $50 million market cap that's bringing in $500 million over the next few years. The risk levels are not so great on that thing, this is something where I think a lot of people know the story, but they're like, shh, I'm just going to collect shares. I don't want to yell this to the rooftops and get a $2.40 move. I want it to go down, if anything, so I can accumulate. And when this thing needs to be big, there'll be people out there that are going to make it big.
Can I be a bit of the devil's advocate here? I like the deal. Again, like it's with Orange, and this is the company Orange. It's a telecom company out in France. Revenues of $42 billion. Maybe TK, you can address this, but in the mining industry, a lot of people talk about the AK-47 countries that are in Africa because the bureaucracy and the government there has, it's not the best history. But the deal was announced in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which, recently we've heard stuff related to cobalt mining and all that kind of stuff. And I don't even know if they have a stable government right now, but what do you guys think about that, about investing in some of these areas? Because I looked at a lot of Nuran's news pieces, and a lot of the projects are in those parts of Africa, which again need the technology, right? So South Sudan here, Sierra Leone, Mali, I think Cameroon was one, but that's a bit more stable. But DRC, what do you guys think?
Yeah, so I was gonna say, I feel, and obviously there's a bias here. It's home, it's home, but a lot of the confusion with some of the African countries is focusing on the geopolitics, whereas fundamentally the economies could be running well. It's just a different system to the US or Canada or Europe. Ironically, if you look at a lot of the African countries, if you want a benchmark, we still run a system very close to our, lack of a better term, our colonizers, the UK. And it's kind of the same infrastructure that's still there. It's just not being utilized as productively. So a lot of foreign powers are coming in and trying to use that infrastructure to try improve the things that weren't there to begin with. So for example, I know for sure, in Zimbabwe, there is an issue in the rural area of communication between the services side and the agriculture side. So the biggest thing that probably Nuran would help is with electronic transfers of cash, where most of the population is unbanked. They don't have a banking account and stuff like that. And this makes it simpler for them to communicate and send money through. And that's the positive side of it. The geopolitical side of it is the government is corrupt and they'll take some tax money, or they'll tell these guys you can't do certain business and stuff like that. I think that's just part and parcel of the culture back home, as well, trying to hold on to the little culture that the country still has, but also allow capital to come in and try improve the standard of living.
Let me throw in one more, just being a devil's advocate, but what do you guys think about, say, Elon Musk's Starlink, which wants to shoot wireless all around Africa as well, and is also, 5G tech? Do you think that's a threat, or?
I'll keep this one short and sweet. I don't believe anything that guy says.
I'd agree. Look, I'll say this. When China wants to clamp down on democracy activists, what does it do first? It turns off the internet, right? It runs communication off a cliff. If you were bringing communication to rural Africa, what you're really doing is you're bringing the ability of people to communicate, to talk, to organize, to even fight back against tyrants, right? Nothing progresses an economy better than anyone sitting anywhere within Wi-Fi range being able to set up an Etsy shop, or receive money from someone in Florida, or send pictures to a guy in the next town of what he's got for sale. I think this is, if you're a progressive like I am, and if you're power to the people like I am, build a fucking network of networks everywhere, and very soon the tyrants will need to fall in line. The other thing is if you're building an oil pipeline in the Congo, and one day the government decides, it's a mighty fine oil pipeline you got there, we'll have that. Everything's gone. If you're building a wireless network and someone comes in with an AK and says, we'll take this tower from you, well, the rest of the towers are being switched off back home, and you've got no more network. There's nothing for you to take. So I think that this is I won't say it's geopolitical free. There's definitely going to need to be some business done that might be a little bit unorthodox in order to get it all up and running. But, bring it back to brass tacks. If everyone in Africa has a cell phone, economies can grow in places where we've spent 100 years trying to get economies to grow.
Yeah. All right. I want to go brass tacks, like you just mentioned, and I want to bring it on home right back here. It's mid-August. I think this is a fun one to take Simmer's $5,000 and decide what you're going to do with it on August 15th, 16th, 17th, somewhere in that ballpark. And we'll go quick around the horn, and we'll go with Vishal. I
like this. Technicals are great. And I think, the fundamentals there are looking good as well. That $500 million revenue is, for a company that has a market cap of, 41.76 million. I think it's a good one. I would buy some shares initially here at this $2 support, and then add more on that breakout, because there still is that potential where we could fall.
So you're taking half my money right now, you're saying?
Yeah, what I do is, I say if it's 5K, I'll put maybe, let's say, buy half here at $2, and then add once we get that breakout rather than it just ranging.
CP just below me. What do you got?
Man, I'm okay with losing a little opportunity value in sitting on something that I'm pretty sure is going to go up at any point. Take into account that this $500 million deal is one deal, and I'm damn sure that they're out there trying to do a second. So, if the thing could go from 40 cents to $3.60 on the back of one deal, I'm pretty sure that if they can pull 2 or 3 more, that we're looking at a real rise here. So I'm not scared to buy in with your whole 5. Quite frankly, I've been buying this stock on and off for the last 6 months. I just see it as being an unseen gem.
BK?
Yeah, it's echo the same thing. I think whenever the deal comes out, there are going to be people who are either completely excited about it or a little bit disappointed about the terms or something like that. So I do expect some volatility, but volatility is the investor's friend if you use it to your advantage.
Beautiful. And I'm feeling a little lighter too because I just got rid of that 5K that I was.
You're going to get back to work, man.
I got to reliquidate.
We just went through your mushroom money.
We appreciate the advice and the education, but I got to tell the viewers out there to please do your own educating and your own research because we cannot guarantee any results. You all know that. So get busy. This is just helpful advice. Enjoy yourselves, enjoy your research, and good luck in the market. This has been the Equity Guru Investor Roundtable with a focus on Nuran Wireless for TK and Vishal and CP. This is Simmer up top. Rob Simpson. We'll talk to you soon.